So we wanted to get into this pretty intriguing phone call that was documented on social media between Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels and 49ers wideout Brandon Aiyuk, who is trying to get a new deal from the 49ers.
You mean the guy that I said was very close with Jaden Daniels, and then everybody mocked me when I said that that guy.
They're talking
Brandon
again.
Aiyuk?
They're talking again.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
they're buddies.
So we have the audio of the back and forth between Jaden Daniels and his former college teammate from Arizona State, Brandon Aiyuk.
Bro, look in the cam, bro. Flip the cam.
You got me vlogging this.
Bro, what?
What happened, bro?
They said they don't want me back. I swear.
Oh my.
All right, so the audio is not the best.
There's not a lot going on there, but it is interesting.
Basically, Aiyuk tells Jaden Daniels, quote, "They said they don't want me back." Daniels responds, "That's it? I swear," Aiyuk said, prompting Daniels to shout, "My boy!" And then Aiyuk wrote in the caption of the post, quote, "I'm laughing, but I'm crying, FR."
Right.
For real.
For real, yes,
Right.
in shorthand. So
Is that Ayuk's way of saying, hey, I don't want to come play with you. I want you to throw me touchdowns?
I mean,
Putting it out there. They're
could
putting
be-
it out there into the ether.
could
for
be a
sure.
possibility.
Well, with the 49ers, I mean, they've got a ton of – they got the second biggest payroll in the NFL.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of big money guys.
and they drafted a wideout
They drafted
relatively
two.
early.
Yeah, they drafted Pearsall and they drafted Cowling out of Arizona. But they it's part of the business. I mean, you can't pay
Sure.
every one of your guys. I mean, what if Brock Purdy has another good year? You got to pay him.
Yeah,
You got to pay him $250 million, if not more.
You can't pay Debo, Ayuk, Kittle,
Bosa,
Purdy, McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, they just gave an extension.
You can't give all those guys top of the market
Yeah.
money for their positions and fit everybody. Somebody has to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and it
And
may or may not be him, or maybe they're just kind of waiting to play it out, and they're
Yeah.
going to try and work something out with him before he can start holding out, and he'll get fined if he starts holding out.
But he's a guy who, in his 4 seasons in San Francisco, has had 60, 56, 78, 75 catches. He's had 5, 8, and 7 touchdowns. Almost 4,000 yards receiving. I mean,
Averaged 18 yards a carry a catch last week.
Yeah, 17.9 yards per catch. I mean, literally a guy at the peak of his powers.
Yeah,
He's a young stud who would instantly upgrade your wideout room.
Yeah.
I mean, he
man.
would just be a huge addition.
If you could find a way to finagle him, and I heard a lot of the guys, I heard Sheehan and a lot of these other guys saying something like, a second and a fourth or whatever it would take.
Yeah.
If you could find a way
to pull it off.
so
I guarantee you, Adam
have to.
Peters is thinking about it.
Well, Cody Benjamin of CBSSports.com has a list of potential landing spots for Ayuk if he's dealt.
All right.
And he has 5 teams listed.
Yep.
Here they are in order. He's got the Cardinals at the top of the list. I don't think these are like 1 through 5. They're not in any particular order. Cardinals at the top. He said Arizona just spent the number 4 pick on Marvin Harrison Jr., but Kyler Murray could still use more offensive weaponry as he enters year 6. Cardinals have more than $35 million in 2024 salary cap space, because if you trade for him, you're gonna have to present him a deal where he's making around $30 million a season. That's like the going rate for stud wideouts in the NFL.
Right.
So the Chargers are second on the list because they got rid of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They drafted Ladd McConkey. Quentin Johnson was a high pick last year. He was a bit of a dud in year 1, so maybe they could supercharge that offense, add Ayuk as the premier piece there. Third on the list, the Commanders. Is it a coincidence Ayuk vented about his contract holdup to new Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels? No, because the two were once teammates at Arizona State. Now, how about a reunion? Terry McLaurin is already well paid as the number 1 for Washington, but new coach Dan Quinn has prioritized veteran depth this offseason, and there are other
They got a ton of money to spend.
And there are other San Francisco ties in D.C. where ex-49er staffers, including, I can't believe they use this nickname, Commies general manager Adam Peters now reside. So the Commanders are on this list along with the Patriots, but he kind of throws water on that as like that's a rebuild. Does Ayuk really want to go from like a contender to a rebuild? It's kind of the same thing here, same situation in Washington, both with young quarterbacks that they drafted high. The last team on the list, this team's kind of intriguing too, the Steelers. Repeatedly linked to Ayuk via both report and rumor, the Steelers got rid of Deontay Johnson earlier this offseason, and while Roman Wilson arrived in the draft, they could still use a veteran complement to George Pickens.
Well,
so those are the 5 teams that Cody Benjamin
I can
outlines.
only dream about a scenario where we would have McLaurin, Ayuk, and Dotson.
Yeah.
And then maybe, sprinkle in a little Luke McCaffrey learning the position.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zach Ertz, the tight end.
Zach Ertz helping mentor Sinnott along his way as a rookie.
And then you've got
Austin Eckler out of the
Austin Eckler
backfield
there with
catching
Brian
balls.
Robinson. Then, and a young dynamic quarterback. That's actually a formidable talent base there if you can get any protection up front.
A 1-2-3 punch of Ayuk, McLaurin, and Dotson is kind of tantalizing.
That would be the best receiving core we've had since like the posse.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
What was the Garcon year? Who was it?
So you had Garcon.
Garcon was
Deshaun.
He probably intersected with Deshaun.
But
Jackson.
it was mostly those two, wasn't it?
There was a third. I can't remember.
I'd have to look it up. Dravy's good at that. It'd be Deshaun, Garcon. Who else was Santana there?
What year are you talking about? Are you talking about RG3's?
Like 2012?
Yeah.
Santana was there for RG3's rookie year, but I don't think he did anything.
You'd have to look it up, but I'm telling you, that would be a formidable group. What would be the reason to not do it? Well,
It's
a little early.
O-line is the need.
They had Leonard Hankerson that year.
He never did anything.
No.
He's coaching now, I think.
Hey, you know why you should do it? Is because everyone talks about how unless you're the Chiefs with Mahomes, you have certain windows, and striking while the iron's hot on a rookie deal,
rookie quarterback
deal.
Yeah.
So what's the point of waiting a year, 2, 3 years to make this move when you have the salary to do it or the salary cap to do it now before Jaden gets a second contract?
I'm having a hard time coming up with a reason not to do it, other than
it's not a need.
No, it's definitely a need. I think to get it that next level. Like I think it's a good receiving core, but it's not great.
Like you can't do this. You can't do this deal now, or you can't do this deal later when Jaden has a second contract. It's hard. It's hard to sign.
Plus, you're getting him in his prime.
Yes.
Like, how old is he? 26.
The only counter against it is
been in
that
the league 4 years.
they're not really built to super win anything next year. Like next year's still a building block year, I think.
Okay, but how many times you shake a tree and a elite wide receiver is going to just fall down from it?
Listen, I'm pro going and get him. I'm pro getting.
Look, I understand it's early in Jaden's development, but
early,
the window opened as soon as you draft him.
It's a guy that he clearly has a connection with, a guy that he loves him. Some Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, they're best friends.
They're buddies.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
You want to get on your star quarterback's good side? Is sign his boy that is an elite wide receiver.
Plus, the Commanders have $37 million in cap space right now. They have the third most right now.
How much do they have?
$37 million.
They got a bunch.
Right.
I mean, the only teams with more are the Patriots.
It would just be
and
1 year
Lions.
early, probably in a perfect world, but who cares?
But who cares early? Yeah, who cares
if
early?
it's only 1 year.
And it doesn't have. Who knows? What if he turns into C.J. Stroud? Right. And now all of a sudden you're ahead of schedule. So instead of waiting your second year to start a sort of stockpile on,
I guess the other
all
thing
these wide
would be,
receivers,
would be
just
okay,
do it
so
now.
But you're giving up picks. Now it's not the rumors. The words I heard were like second and fourth. That in that range. I don't know what he's worth, but
you're giving up picks. But then you also the ace up your sleeve is you've got Adam Peters, who's going to make magic with the picks that he does have, or acquire more picks down the line.
And the 49ers clearly are making moves as a backup plan.
Do they really want to get rid of him? Why don't they just keep him and then franchise him?
I don't know if they want to get rid of him, but they know they've got to make decisions on other guys too.
You just can't pay everyone.
Well, why don't they just keep him and then franchise him, and he'll be a little bit disgruntled, and who cares?
They could. But if they could also get a trade where they get some high picks, they might do that too. I mean, there's a reason they drafted receivers, especially one in the first round.
I mean, look at it right now.
And if Brock Purdy, again, like I said before, if Purdy has a really good year, you're eventually going to have to pay him. You got to pay a quarterback big salary, and you can't afford everybody.
I mean, look what happened with Tyreek Hill and Mahomes.
Yep.
You had to move on from Tyreek because you can't pay him. Diggs, I mean, I know is disgruntled, but Buffalo needs to clear
Those
cap
guys
room.
are moving around all the time.
T. Higgins, the Bengals can't pay T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Like these receivers,
they get squeezed out.
They get squeezed out. So now is the 5-year window.
What you say, if you signed him, he probably makes you like probably 2 games better.
I mean, he's good. He's really good.
I mean, I think you're probably going to win 1 to 2 more games with him than you would otherwise.
And how many games did you predict that they would win?
9.
Oh, that gets your boys to 11 wins.
Did I have them at 9 and 8? I think I did. I think
you did. I think you did.
I wanted to go 11, but I just gave us a couple losses.
But the 49ers might be thinking, you know what? We have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We've been close the last
so why give up
few
on
years.
him?
Why are we? Let's just he's under contract for 1 year, $14.5 million.
I find it hard to believe he's going to be available.
He's not going to miss. I doubt he's going to miss camp because he's going to get fined $50,000.
He's already missing stuff.
Right, but if he gets fined $50,000 a day if he misses training camp.
My understanding is he's going to rack up $100,000 and miss in fines.
Yeah. So eventually he's going to show. He's going to post, and then maybe they do franchise him, or maybe they make a deal later in the summer. We'll see.
So Albert Breer recently said that he thinks the deal gets done
with the Niners.
With the Niners, and it's going to be close to in between $26 and $29 million a year.
God,
put him right past Jalen Waddle and St. Brown, but still behind Justin Jefferson.
Right.
And he says
where it should be.
The second
and
tier
Debo might be the
wideouts.
one. If any of them get traded, might be Debo. But
take him too.
Sure.
I'll take any of your gristle.
Yep.
Whatever you don't want over there, Lurchy, I'll take.
I want them all. But I mean,
you're
but I'm not the
greedy.
GM.
You're being greedy like the Boston Celtics hoarding championships.
Yeah, you want to keep the best players.
I understand, but
If
you know
you're
what?
at-
You don't have enough money.
If you're Adam Peters, do you call or do you wait for them to call you? Like, what do you do? I think you seek it out.
I think you
maybe.
might have to give them a call.
You might.
Just to
Just
get
wanna
that
hit-
ball.
But then you're
rolling.
desperate though. When
No,
you
no,
call,
no,
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 you
no,
just
no,
ask
no,
them what
no.
the price
It's an
is. That's all.
exploratory call.
You
Like
say,
you,
hey, if
you don't show all your cards on the first call.
I know,
You
but
just say, hey, you call up John Lynch, your buddy. You're tight with him. Say, hey, let's.
Well, we're gonna
let's talk
talk.
shop.
We're gonna talk to Larry Krueger later in the show about this.
Yep.
And get his thoughts.
And-
But
and Kruger is
He's the host of
He's just a
97.5
radio guy
The
out there.
Game out in San Francisco.
Okay.
So we'll have some.
he's getting
some
up
intel.
early.
why I'm supposed to know Larry Kruger. What?
well, we've been teasing it. You look at the rundown.
I know, but I'm saying it for our audience's sake too, more than I am for me.
Mm.
I could deduce who he was, but I didn't know that our audience could.
Speaking of the audience, we want to hear from them on the MGM National Harbor listener lines at 800-636-1067. If you're the Commanders brass, do you pull off the deal for Brandon Aiyuk? Do you deal away picks, and are you willing to pay him $26
I'm having a
million
hard time
per
coming
year?
up with a reason not to.
800-636-1067. Do you pull the trigger on a Brandon Aiyuk deal from San Francisco to Washington? We'll take your